Welcome to another video about the insides of the new Odyssey clutch hub. This time I'm going to be talking about the gap. Now the gap is the time it takes from when you start turning the driver to when the drive engages. So typically people like this to be between an eighth of a crank and maybe a bit more. Now with the traditional designs like this, you would just put a stack of washers this side of the driver. If it's a big stack, then the clutch lump can't move very far. If it's a smaller stack, then the lump can move further, so creating a bigger gap. One of the problems with that is that you then have this steel end of the clutch rubbing against whatever your spacers are made of. So many hubs put a thrust bearing in there to try and make it a bit smoother. The problem with this design is that to adjust the gap you have to add and remove washers, which means knocking the axle out of the hub, which is obviously very annoying. But it also means you can only adjust by one washer at a time, so your adjustments are quite big. There have been designs that have had an internal adjustment system, so you don't have to take the hub apart, and they involve putting an Allen key down through the axle and adjusting a little piece in here. But that means putting a huge hole in the axle, which weakens it considerably. We didn't want to do either of those, so I invented this. What we have are two pieces made of that same special bearing plastic we developed for the resistance mechanism, and they just fit together like that. Like that, it's like a stack of washers that long. But as you tighten the grub screw into this little hole through the outside of the shell, it pushes them apart. So now it's like a longer stack of washers, it gives you less gap. And when you back it off the other way, the action of the hub can compress it back down again. So you get a smaller gap again, but larger gap again. Let me show you how that goes on the axle. Here's the axle, we just slide it on. We then take our resistance mechanism and just slide that on as well. Up to it. Then we put on the clutch. No messing around with different length washers, no worrying if it's going to be the right amount of gap. You're all done. And this bearing plastic acts as a thrust bearing for the end of the driver, so we don't need that either. It's all nice and simple. When we pop that into the hub, it goes in like so, and we can screw into the driver. So that's our gap. As you can see, when we turn this grub screw through the little hole in the hub shell, we push everything along and reduce the gap. It really is as simple as that. I hope you've enjoyed this video and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.